40 years. Imago, which began as the vision of a few, has over those 40 years extended its reach to many, particularly many within the arts community across Canada. We're here in this venue, Enoch Turner Schoolhouse. Many of you will recognize this. Today it's empty, but over many, many evenings over the past 14 years, this place has been alive with the celebration of the arts as Imago has hosted events in this venue. Whether it's dancers or poets, musicians, or visual artists, many of you have been here to appreciate and enjoy and celebrate their work. I like this venue because not only is it a beautiful space, but it's Enoch Turner Schoolhouse, which speaks to the importance of education. And as you look at the architecture of this space, you'll also know that there is allusion to the sacred. Imago is interested in education and also interested in the sacred. It's about faith and the arts. What you will hear this evening in the next few moments on this video will serve to give you both insight and a fresh glimpse into the work of Imago.
I think it's really important that we have the right person at the helm of Imago at this time, and we do. In John, we have a person who is a lover of people, a lover of culture, a lover of the arts, very well informed, very well read, and just critically important to engage with people the way he does, to engage the culture. And Christianity has had such an impact on culture for so many centuries, and this is not the time to pull back, and that's why it's so important. And I'm so glad that Imago has been active for the last 40 years. As culture seems to be going in a certain direction, it's all the more important that Imago be here, working with artists, pushing artists so that we're not privatizing, but that we're out there in the arena.
I would say that my background growing up in a church community and art was not encouraged as a means whereby we could express our faith. Imago has certainly been a venue whereby I have been affirmed and have found encouragement to grow and share my art. And through the invitation of John Franklin and Imago, having the opportunity to have a one-man show recently at the In Context with Lorna Dueck offices / gallery was a wonderful venue for me to be able to show my work, and I'm thankful for the opportunity that was given to me.
I'm a visual artist, painter, and also an art educator, and I have been painting and drawing since my childhood. My parents both were artists and Christians also, so I had an amazing amount of encouragement since my childhood, and that is one of the words that I always associate with Imago. I really hope that an organization like Imago will continue and will be able to bring much encouragement to other artists, not only Christians in the arts, but also other artists who, through participating in some of these events, may come to know Christ. The way that Imago embraces and supports the artists in encouraging them and organizing events and providing these platforms for the public and inviting the public with such hospitality is something that I really hope that it will continue.
For me, I would say that the events at the Enoch Turner Schoolhouse were really tonic. They're just really refreshing. I know that whenever I've made the effort to get out of my little world, leave Cambridge, come into Toronto and show up at one of these events, that it's been an extraordinary experience, like a smorgasbord of just creative expression before me that just refuels me. So I just really have appreciated that. I just always felt like I could stand up and applaud my fellow creative comrades for letting me touch a small piece of what they've touched and hear a small piece of what they've heard. And that really brings a lot of value that I can take home with me to my studio, and just reminds me that what we're doing is immensely important.
Happy anniversary to Imago. It's great to be celebrating with you for the 40th anniversary. I'm so thankful for John and Marion and for the times we've had at their house with dinners. Think of some amazing nights of meeting other artists. Also so thankful for their support in CDs, and I couldn't be doing what I'm doing without them. It's so neat to be part of a collective and a community. So often as artists we tend to be on our own and sitting in our rooms making art, and once we actually open ourselves up to other artists and meet them, it really changes how we see things, and it feels amazing to be a part of a community. So I hope this continues. There's so many more chances coming up for connection, and without connection we end up being an island, so keep on going.
I was in the business world north of Toronto and was invited by a friend to go to an event that Imago was putting on. I went, I was nervous, what was I going to find? And it felt just like coming home. I was in business, but there was a sense that there was something that I wanted to express, something that was in me that wasn't being satisfied in business. And it was an artist's heart that I just felt so clearly I'd found a community when I entered the showcase for that session with Imago. But one of the things I feel Imago has done for me is give me a sense of foundation and a sense of preparation for that. Because there's lots of art making, art doing in an Imago setting, but there's also a lot of deep thought and searching through what this art means and where it could go and where it's come from. And that has been great preparation for me as I meet people who are not part of the kingdom, but I feel responsible to care for and to enjoy their art with them. And they have welcomed me, and we have a building relationship as time goes on, but Imago has been a key part of preparing me for making that relationship happen in God's kingdom.
My personal mission statement is to tell stories that help people understand the kingdom of God. And that's where Imago comes in. For example, one of the projects Imago helped me with was The Glory Man. And that was back in 2007. And just a few weeks ago, I was in Georgia for the Georgia premiere of The Glory Man, which is a story about how a group of Christians, a community of Christians, founded Habitat for Humanity. And President and Mrs. Carter were there, the founder of Habitat for Humanity was there, the community was there. It was a wonderful weekend, and a gentleman was there from Lorica Entertainment in Hollywood, an associate producer who I have signed a movie development deal with. So we're excited to see where the project goes. For me personally, Imago has made a big difference. Imago has provided the seed money that gives me an opportunity to do faith-based projects that aren't going to be funded elsewhere.
Imago's been amazing, and I love the community of Imago, and my hope is that the next 40 years we'll be building something even more incredible than what it is now, and that Imago will be able to even lend more support in different ways to the artist communities in a number of my projects, the Prodigal Trilogy, Blue Like Jazz Live, Kingdom of Herod, and now with the Arts Engine. I would have never been able to do any of those projects without it. It's been an amazing thing to both realize that there are donors out there who are chomping at the bit to give to great projects, projects that transform culture, affect people's lives and hearts. It's an amazing thing. You know, we just need to continue to inspire people with our work and realize that there's a lot of people in the process of getting to the finished product.
Well, I look back over 40 years. I really want to congratulate Imago. The beginning of those 40 years were a very difficult time where the arts were not embraced within the Christian community, and Imago has done so much to help individual artists and groups of artists develop their skills, find a way of performing and being known. A lot of consultation. I know both Wilbur and you have spent a great deal of time individually with artists to encourage them. There's still a tremendous amount to do in that churches are still pretty conservative, and we need to be reaching out to them and encouraging them to look further into the art world and encourage their artists.
There was a group of volunteers that in 2001 recognized there was a huge need to connect, develop, and promote Canadian writers and editors who are Christian. We had a concept, but it's Imago that gave us the credibility and the structure. Because of the Word Guild's existence, and it having been birthed by Imago, there have been a number of publications come to life that I don't think would ever have happened. One of the things I'm most excited about are 2 anthologies, of which I was co-editor. They showcase 60 Canadian writers from coast to coast. They're called Hot Apple Cider and A Second Cup of Hot Apple Cider. They both have won multiple awards, and they both are Canadian bestsellers. There's over 70,000 copies of these books in circulation. We partnered with World Vision on this project, and it's been a real way to show people that we have great Canadian writers in our midst.
I first met Wilbur Sutherland at a group of young Christian believers in a home in Toronto, and that was a very exciting time because that was the first time I understood there was a connection between those leaders who understood the impact of Christian arts. And as a young man who had grown up with a vision of becoming a writer, was suddenly suddenly left without a context until I found somebody like Wilbur understood that artists who toil alone need to have support, understanding, and need to have the insight of the larger community. That is, a larger theological context in which to speak. That is what Imago is able to do, and that is what John Franklin has been able to do so effectively. Imago is that inspirational setting where artists learn from each other to make themselves just a little bit closer to that vision of what excellence should mean and can mean in their lives.
Imago has been an artistic and spiritual home for me ever since I graduated from theater school at York. I hope Imago continues and gets younger and younger and more diverse, because there's a whole generation of artists who are coming up through the schools and coming out and wondering where they belong. Like, not only artists, but Christian artists who are wrestling with a lot of issues particular to their craft and particular to Toronto and the world we live in today. But you know, the best thing I think about Imago, not only as an organization, but producing events hosted by John Franklin and catered by Miriam. And the food was always great. That was the real reason why people came. But those events, like, it's kind of this, what do you call it? It's a call. It's a call to to bravery as artists of faith, to step out of the comfort zone of church or the comfort zone of your little enclave or the little thing that you have here, and bring it out nationally, bring it into the world, bring it internationally, and share that with the world, because I believe that's what we're meant to do as artists, as Christians. Bring it to the world. Yeah.